to another edition of Mortgage Talks. I'm your host, Adam Hires. Got another great edition today. Got a heavy hitter in the mortgage, in the I can't talk today, in the real estate game. So it's always good to get different perspectives. And you loan officers out there, real estate agents, insurance agents, financial planners, entrepreneurs, we all pretty much, can grow the same way. And really it starts with the first thing is us, right? Us. It's not the market, it's us. How can we continue to grow? How can we continue to be better? How can we serve? All those things. So this is going to be another good one. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to introduce our guest here in a minute. But listen, I'm on a mission here in a new state, zero context, to go to 150 families served in a year. It's a very daunting task and a big goal there. Things are going really well, getting some deals going, and partnerships are forming at this point. I have an amazing team that's able to allow me to do what I do and getting things closed quick, fast, in a hurry. So really proud of the team I built, because at this point I'm able to generate business, and I'm able to also do my podcast, and we got exciting things in the coaching world coming up. Obviously, I'm coaching people now, but we are launching something, myself and my business partner, Dallas Hardcastle, the man, the myth, the legend. We got some big stuff in store for you loan officers out there to absolutely explode your business. So you're want to tune in for that. Can't tell you all the secrets right now, but big things going on. But anyway, I'm super excited for the growth that's been happening personally with my team. It's always great to hear different perspectives on these podcasts when I'm talking to people in a different, in a different, whole different, state. When I crossed over, if you're a loan officer, real estate agent out there, the market is crazy right now with multiple bids and all this stuff going on. But there is people to serve out there. There's absolutely people to serve. There's partnerships to be formed right now more than ever, especially with you real estate agents and loan officers. This is a time to unite with the really heavy hitters that are doing a good job, because you're going to need each other to get some of these deals. And what I'll tell you, loan officers out there, is that a lot of you all are dropping the ball when it comes to they're a month out, they're 3 months out, 6 months out. People are getting pre-approved and you're just not following up with them correctly. So that's been my big thing, is making sure that our partnerships know that we're going to follow up with them for 6 or 9 months. We're going to encourage them, because it may take a long time for them to get under a contract right now. According to where you're at, you may be listening to this and stuff is going on a contract the same month. I can tell you that's not really happening with my team. It's taken a little time for people to find a home, negotiate, win the deal. So it's very, very vital for you to stay in front of the partnerships and let them know that you're going to continue to follow up with these clients for months on end. So it's a huge deal, guys and girls. All right, so let's go. Let's get after it. I have Jerri Sims on here. How you doing, Jerri? Oh, you got muted. There you are.
Hey, I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
Oh, doing great. So welcome to the podcast, and the listeners out there. We got insurance agents, financial planners. We got, of course, real estate agents and loan officers listening to this podcast. You're doing a really good job. We came across, to tell you all out there, I came across Jerri by some of my calls, and actually was, one of my assistants that actually scheduled the call with Jerri. And then I had a great conversation with her, because she's in the Atlanta area here as a real estate agent, blowing it up. And we just had a deeper conversation than normal, and don't typically have, real estate agents on here that I've talked to in that manner come on my podcast. But I think she had some really good stuff to share. So I said, hey, let's come on here, and excited for her to share some of the things that she's doing.
Well, I appreciate it. And, real estate, it's just my passion. It's what I'm supposed to do. And I think anytime you're doing something you're supposed to do, you can't fail. So you put the time and the energy in, and you're guaranteed results. But as to what you were saying about, the market and offers and things like that, so a little bit about us. It's myself and my daughters all went to college. And then after school, they said, "Hey, Mom, I want to work for you." I'm like, "Okay, sure, come on." So my daughter Jasmine has her broker's license. She's been licensed obviously for more than 3 years, I guess about 5 or 6 years now. Dinah's been licensed for more than 3, and Noelle's been licensed for about 2.5. Noelle's my daughter-in-law. So my girls are in the office with me every day. And then I have some other agents that work with me. All of them, every last one of them are past clients that got their license and said, "Hey, I want to work with you. I want to be with you." And, just awesome that they decided to join me. Out of every single brokerage firm out there, they wanted to make this their home. So I appreciate every last one of them for that. But our business now, it's totally different. It's not what it used to be by any means. And all I can say, especially to other realtors and other loan officers out there, don't give up. So our success comes because I just had a conversation. I said, "Look, we've only written 15 offers for you. It's taken 40 now. When we hit 40, we can have this conversation. You're not allowed to have this with me now." And I know in his mind, he's like, "Are you serious?" And I said, "Look, it's not you. It's not the market. It's not this." And, he's like, "Well, maybe I need to step back." I said, "Step back. And what are you waiting for?" Nothing changes, I mean, unless the market changes, we're in the same place. I said, "So let's just keep going." And he agreed to keep going. And I told him, "You can have this conversation once we hit 40 contracts." And that sounds insane to tell someone that we're going to write 40 offers before you get your maybe house, because it still has to pass inspection and it still has to appraise and all of that, And so I think what helps us is we work with really good lenders like yourself, and having good lenders, what that means is that we have conversations, we communicate, and I can call and say, "Hey, okay, this is what I'm offering. I think I'm going to be short 20,000. Do you have enough doc? Do you have what is it that's going to hold this thing together?" And when you have that transparency and you're not just throwing wet toilet paper up on a ceiling, praying that it sticks, you get to the other side. So, I have clients where it's like, "Look, this is how much liquid you have. This is what your LO has documented. So we can go over 5,000. We can't go over more than 5,000 in what it appraises for." And then no one's getting closing costs right now. It's zero. So the days of saying that I can get you in a house for 3.5%, if you're FHA, if you're conventional, "Oh yeah, it's 100%. I mean, if you're VA, it's 100%. Well, that's not going to happen. Even though you have a VA loan, I need you to have your 3.5%, because you're paying it. They're not paying it for you. And then I might need another $5,000 because we're not going to make appraised value." So I think if you share that and you just stick to your guns, you'll close deals. And our pipeline, every one of our clients. So what we tell people is everyone's approved. Okay. Everyone's approved. Think about it. Who's denied? No one's denied. It's just, you have to sit in my pipeline for 3 years or 2 years or 6 months but here's the thing. I'll help you get into a house. You hang out with me and you don't throw in the towel, and we will get you to the other side of this transaction. So that means a lot, and clients, oh boy, do they appreciate it. I have a girl who I actually have her saved in my phone as 3 years ago, because when I bump back into her, she's like, "Jerri, it's been 3 years." And I'm like, "Gosh, what is her name? What is her name? What is her name?" And so I saved her as 3 years ago. And I called her and I finally got her name and, corrected my error. But 3 years later, and it took us another year for her to get in her home, but we can't give up on people. And our pipelines are our business. So, the old school funnel that they taught in all the sales classes, like, you have this funnel and you have this, and this, it's still relevant. And so those people that are 3 years out, that's fine. They matter. They're my future. They're what makes everything tick. So I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with writing new construction contracts that are next year, and they really are next year. But I think the other thing is we have to be transparent with our clients and let them know this is next year. that 2% rate you have, I don't know that you're going to have that next year, you know, and I have to have serious conversations with my LOs like, all right, I know that this is approved today,
Right.
but if we go back up to a 4 or 5, is this going to hold?
Right.
So I think you and I both agree.
But by the way, every 1% equals 11%. Like, so one, if somebody's pre-approved for 300,000 and the rates change 1%, it's approximately, you know, you're approximately looking at $33,000, you know, less, for example. So 1% in the rate. Now, of course, a lot of people build in, loan officers will build in a little bit of cushion there, so they still could be. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You have to have that conversation. I love what you hit on there. The transparency kept coming through, which you can tell by the conversation here. You're transparent in what you do and you know how you operate. You know, your care for the client and work in the database. Absolutely. I mean, everybody can use that, because I always say to my team, we help everybody. We help everybody. It doesn't mean that you don't help. Doesn't mean they can buy a home right this second, but you help everybody. If you advise them, you follow up with them, you encourage them, you're helping them. One thing that I know that I really missed on, even in that, and a lot of loan officers and real estate agents miss out, is they can't help them right now, so they don't ask for a referral from that client, because they feel like, and I used to feel this way a few years ago. I felt like I was going, Jerri, I know you can't buy a home and you suck at life, but do you have anybody that doesn't? That's what felt like it was coming out of my mouth, right? That's not what was my intent. That wasn't what, but I just felt like that's how it was going to be received. And nothing can be further from the truth, because if you try to help somebody, they still appreciate it. And they're willing to give you somebody a referral too. And not everybody's credit is the same. And so, you know, I've got 9 deals from one client on that, right? The client that referred me, somebody that just kept on, reciprocating. So I love what you're talking about there, is just continue to work that database. And because it could be 3 years down the road, but people just lose sight of that. What's here, what's now. And there's so much mining to be done there. Another thing I love that you said there is obviously your team is your past clients. So that obviously is saying that you're being transparent with them, you're communicating properly to them, you're encouraging them, you're doing all those things that's nurturing a relationship that they want to work for you. So I think a lot of people can go back to that. So if you're looking for good employees, if you just treat people really good and you follow up with them, you never know. I mean, it could be the best employees for you if you just treat your clients like that, right?
No, I agree. I think just, you know, we have to work hard. We have to be considerate, you know, and if you love what you do, and I think you love what you do, and I love what I do. And so if you love it, people feel it. You know, I mean, I have people, they're like, Jerri, I just need to talk to you today. You know, they need that reassurance. They need to, and here's the thing, my reassurance to me isn't always reassurance, because our conversation is going to go, well, okay, so here's the deal. I've never lied to you. I'm not going to start now. You really might be homeless in 2 weeks. In the event this doesn't line up the way this is supposed to line up, and that doesn't line up the way that's supposed to line up. That's a hard thing to say, but it's the truth. And so when I list your house and we go and we contract a new house, I can't guarantee that other loan officer is going to do everything that they're supposed to do. I don't know that loan officer 90% of the time. I don't know if that agent knows what they're doing. I don't know the client's profile. So there's a lot of hope there. And so I'm very transparent. I say, look, this could end very badly. And if it does, you know what? I don't know where you're going to live, but I want you to have a plan B. And I want you to make those arrangements, whether that's extended stay, staying with the family member, living in your RV. You know, I need for you to think about that. And thank God it doesn't happen very often, but it does. But those are the things that make us great. I mean, you can be as mad as you want to be about the fact that you could possibly have to be displaced, or that you could end up being homeless. But the truth of the matter is that I was honest with you. I told you, I shared with you, I didn't lie, I didn't mislead you. And this is where we are. And so I think people appreciate that. And so often, the same thing you said, you don't want to be the bad guy. You don't tell someone that you very well could become homeless soon. You don't want to tell someone that, you know, there's a possibility that you won't get your home. You know, some of the weaker files that we have where I tell someone, look, this loan officer feels really good about it, but you have this and this against you. And depending on how this underwriter looks at it, you know, this is what's going to determine whether it's going to happen or not. And the only way for us to know that is to get an underwriter to look at it. Yeah. You know, hard, but true. And let me tell you, you know how many people I haven't closed that send me business because I told them the truth? And like I tell people, us helping them get their credit together and doing all those things, that's life-changing. That's not for you to buy a home. That's for you to live the rest of your life. That's for you to get a better interest rate on your car, be able to go to college and need to take out loans, for all the things that you do for the rest of your life. So I don't feel like we help them with just a home purchase. We help people with life. And if you look at it like that, how can people not love us? Because we're helping them make their lives better.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And it's in 87% of people's wealth in retirement comes from their home. Mm-hmm. And of course, right now, I mean, you know, I had a client that she's like, man, maybe I should just continue renting. And I was like, no, right? Like, and here's the reason: it's not just a home for your family. It's great for your family, and that's you know, you're going to build all those visions that you have. I want you to have those, but you also need to look at it as, if you're paying somewhere around the same amount of rent as you're going to pay for a home, for example, then basically you're going to put $0 in and make thousands every single year you own a home. That's what you're doing, because unless you're living in your mom's basement, paying nothing, you have nothing, then you're going to have rent either way. And if they're pretty much similar on how much, you're literally putting in $0 because you're going to have it anyway, and you're making thousands of dollars. And that's what you're doing with your wealth. And light bulb went off in this client's mind, right? So, you know, there's those little, sometimes we have to get them to see the bigger picture, right? Than just what's right in front of them. And, you know, that's a love language we can have with clients, because we're trying to better their lives, their futures. And it can be frustrating out there right now. So it's good that I love that you're being so transparent with, hey, listen, they can take 40 contracts. I love that, because just setting that precedent up front that, hey, and then when they get an 8, for example, then great, awesome. But you know, like that's at least getting them prepared for what's going on in the marketplace. You're being real with them, and people love real. Authenticity will sell more than BS ever will.
I agree.
You know? I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, you know, that's, you know, everybody kind of sees through that stuff, and you know, there's nothing worse than somebody pulling the rug, and you know, they're just So I think there's obviously a balance between, you know, being so raw that you're not massaging it, but I think that you also have to have the authenticity to, especially in this marketplace right now, because if you go and just say, hey, it's all roses and rainbows, and hey, you know, we're going to go out there, we're going to find you a home, and boom, it's just going to go on a contract, then obviously that person may be discouraged after 2 lost deals, whereas yours may be still okay and still in the funnel after 8 and 10 and 12. So that's a huge thing. I love that. So you started in the real estate game. How long ago did you come in the real estate game?
Well, it's been about 16 years now.
16 years. Okay. 16 years. What growth personally? I'm not talking about just the numbers. I'm talking about personally, professionally. What have you learned? What's been growth internally that you've seen in this journey?
You know, I think the biggest thing is that knowing that you're built for it, and knowing that you're going to carry other people's stuff if you're human, if you care. Mm-hmm. But knowing how to say, okay, you know what, that really stinks, or that sucks for that person, and having empathy, but not letting it consume you. So when I was very young in the business, I carried everyone's problem. You know, it's like, oh my goodness, they're going to deal with this, which is why now I can tell you that you might be homeless in 2 weeks. I still love you. I can't solve that for you. I will help you any way I can, but I'm not going to go home and not go to sleep because of it. That was hard. That was hard to learn how to separate that and not be consumed to the point that every issue that my client had at one point was my issue.
I love this. This is a topic we could go on for hours right there. That's a big one. It's a big one.
But I think that's where I've had the most growth, because I remember having headaches, and I remember, almost crying for people, or literally crying for people, or crying with people because of their situation. And now I feel like I'm stronger, and I can, instead of crying for you, I can help you through it. And I can give you verbally, I'm your cheerleader. I can cheer for you, and I can tell you, no, get up. We got this. We just have to figure out how to get to the other side of this. And when we become their cheerleader, they find strength that they didn't know that they had. So sometimes when you think that you have to solve the problem, you don't have to solve it. You just need to be there for them. You need to encourage them through it. And by doing that, you have solved it, and I think that's anyone that does anything like this, whether it's insurance or loan officers, all the industries that you mentioned, we're all coaches in some facet, because people come to us and they need not just a service, but they're looking to us for advice and for guidance. And so that advice and that guidance, it has to come from the heart, but we can't take everyone's situation too hard, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the couple of key points there is, you said everybody's a coach that's doing this. Yeah, absolutely. There's very few doing it at a really good level, right? The very few that are actually taking that ownership as like a coach, and all the way through the ownership of, hey, I also cut that off to all those problems are not my problem, which is really what a good coach is as well. A really good coach, like when I coach a loan officer, for example, to grow their business, I can't take on their problems. We can talk about what is going on. We can mentorship, all those things can happen. But once you start taking on all their problems and that becomes your problem, then you have a problem. And it's funny, there was a loan officer that I know that she had, it was actually on her Facebook, and I kind of felt bad for her. And it's like this, but it's a maturity process. Hopefully she gets through at some point. And she put on there, like, man, she was up at midnight and all these problems, because it was, the problems of what was going on, but with the client. And she actually even said the opposite of what you said. She said that, their problem is my problem. My clients are, and I'm like, no. You're just going to absolutely shred yourself. And a lot of people take that as, hey, listen, that's what it takes, because I care for people. And honestly, it's like anything. It's like a life raft, right? It's like anything. It's like saving somebody that's drowned. You first have to save yourself to save anybody else. But when you're going out there and you're taking on the problems being your problem, then you can't save anybody, because you're drowning as well. And I think that's huge, because I think you've come over that with that evolution over time, and you've realized that now you're authentic, and now you're doing things boldly like you need to, but then it's not tearing you up, and you're not just getting shredded. Because 16 years, if you didn't learn that over time, as many transactions you do, many families as you help, you would be a mess.
I would be useless.
Right? You'd be a mess. You couldn't help anybody.
Right.
And somebody needed to throw you a life raft, So I think that's a very, very, I did not want to jump over that point, because that's something I see commonality so many times. And I did the same thing when I first came in. Everything was mine, and it's just it just tears you up. You can't sleep and all that. Like you said, hey, I'm just going to sleep, and because it's not that you don't care, it's that you actually care to be in the right frame of mind and help them the next day and what you can actually help them with. So I love that. So you learned that. So got any big goals this year? Like, could be personal, professional, just, could be something overline, could be just what do you got going on?
Lots of goals. I started going back to the gym with my kids. We stopped because of COVID. So it's been, I guess, about 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, and we've consistently gone at least 5 days a week. So I'm proud of myself there.
Yes, I love it.
As far as real estate, like I told the girls, we're going to do everything we can. things have changed, the market's changed and everything, but no matter what, we're still going to close at least 100 transactions this year, no matter what happens, or either that or we're not going to sleep. So so I think we'll hit our numbers. Our goal was a little bit higher, and with COVID and the market crisis and everything, I said, you know what, we as long as we don't digress, it's okay. So we're going to maintain, if that makes sense. So that's our goal, is to at least maintain. The markets that we're in are very, very competitive, and so we're adjusting, and it's kind of neat because I've lived through ups and downs in the market. My girls have not. So just teaching them and showing them how, yes, this is what we used to do, and now this is what we do, and that's how we would combat that before, and now we do it like this, and writing offers differently, and taking on a lot more listings than we ever took on. We worked with lots and lots of buyers. The old saying, they used to say, list or die. I don't know if you heard that before, but when I first got in the business, they were like, list or die. And I was like, well, okay. And I've been a buyer's agent most of my life, but the listings come. And so to all the people that are listening that are buyer's agents out there, the listings come. And I will say, reach out to your sphere. Those people that you sold homes to 3 years ago, 5 years ago, they have equity. Reach out and don't lose sight of that. But just basic goals. Like, there's nothing, I don't know. I guess we don't have spectacular goals. I know some people are like, I want this, I want that. Honestly, I have everything I want. I'm so content in life. I have goals because we have to have measures. Otherwise, we'll just stay where we are. But there's nothing, I love my life. There's not like I want a new car. There's nothing major that I want. I just want us to all stay healthy and get through the year, do business with great people like yourself, and, meet other people and just grow.
I love it. There is absolutely, do not apologize for that. That's I love it. I mean, you sound like you're in such a great place, and that's a beautiful thing to be. You're obviously doing really well. 100 transactions in a year is helping 100 families in a year is that's a top in the top percentile, right? And there's so many real estate agents out there that's been doing it for years, 16 years, that are stuck doing 2 and 3. Which is still not bad either, like 2 and 3, like the average does way less than that. What would you say to someone doing, let's just say the average between 2 and 3 a month, been doing it for a little while as a real estate agent, and they say, hey, I want to do 7, 8 a month. Like, what advice would you give someone trying to go from that point to that point?
That you can do it, and it's all in your follow-up. It's all in meeting people. So there's a rule I have, okay? If I meet you, you need to know who I am. So people laugh because everyone knows me. Like everyone knows me. I go places and it's like, hey, Jerri. I'm like, oh God, who are you? Where do I know you from? But everyone knows me. But everyone knows me because I don't go anywhere and not hand out a business card. I don't go anywhere and not speak. So I have a very big mouth in the sense of, if you're in line with me and you have a little kid and your little kid says hey to me, I'm saying hey back. It's like, hey, how are you? By the way, I sell real estate. Oh, really? No, you're thinking about refi? Well, I know plenty of loan officers. I'll definitely hook you up with someone that's great. Doesn't matter. So that person, they matter. So I'll give you a really short example. And I didn't sell his property, but he asked me to, and he didn't need to sell it because it wasn't the right time. And every dollar is not a good dollar, in my opinion. So I was at Best Buy, and there was a little girl in there, and she's like, Dad, I need water. Dad, I need something to drink. Dad, I need something to drink. And she was maybe 12 or 13. And her dad's like, sweetie, you'll get water when we get home. I can't buy water from here. And I'm thinking a bottle of water is $2 or $3, right? Like, it's Best Buy, so it's probably $3. So I went up to the register. I paid for the water, and I taped the label on it. And the girl's like, why do you want the label on it? I said, I'm giving it to that little girl over there. She's like, that's weird. I said, well, she's thirsty. She wants water, and I'm just going to give her water. So I went over and I gave the little girl the water. And the dad's like, teary-eyed, like, thank you. I'm going through a lot. and it sparked a conversation. The wife left because the daughter had cancer.
Mm.
And on top of the wife leaving because the daughter had cancer, the dad was in between jobs trying to take care of her, struggling with healthcare, just a lot. A very sad story. I said, I'm sorry about everything you're going through. Here's my card. If you ever need anything real estate related, I'm your girl. So maybe 2 years later, 3 years later, he called me. He said, my baby passed and I want to sell my house. And I said, okay. And I went and I looked at the house and stuff. And I'm like, he's like, the house makes me sad. I said, of course it does right now. But that was the only thing that he had left in the world. And he had some title issues that he needed to clear up and stuff. So I helped him clear up all the title issues. I gave him good advice. I put him in touch with all the right people. And he worked it out. He's still in that house, I believe, today. And it wasn't for a sale. It wasn't for that. So if you just be you, that was me being me. There was nothing special about it. So to all those people, find out who you are. Like sometimes we lose ourselves in family and kids. Find out who you are and then use who you are. So if you love senior citizens, when you see seniors, talk to them because it's genuine. I don't know if that makes any sense, but they know that you love me. And so that love, it goes both ways. And then all of a sudden it's like, they'll share your information with whomever it is. So figure out who you love, what you love. If you love animals, go to dog parks. I mean, it doesn't matter what your niche is, but when you find your niche and then you just work that niche, we don't have to market to everybody to be successful. So I just love people. So I just market to the people that make me feel good. Now, if you make me feel funny, I'm not giving you my card.
I love it. You went over a lot of golden nuggets there. That's after our conversation, that's why I had you on here, because these are great golden nuggets to use out there. I know the audience is going to get a lot out of that, and certainly if you're out there and you're having some of these just moments where you just don't feel right, you don't feel like really you can be yourself and all that, be yourself. The professionalism, the term has changed. Like there's a huge difference between what people considered professional 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago and what they consider professional now. Professional, absolutely, you need to show up right and you need to do the things that you said you're going to do and all those. But all these other things where people think that you have to sit in this box, and professionalism used to be, looked at as you have to be, you have to speak properly about certain just the industry and all these other things that used to be the case. It's no longer the case. Professionalism and the journey of professionalism through social media, through just being just more stuff is out there. You have to differentiate yourself. You can be professional, but you can also be, yourself and authentic. And like you said, what I love too is the whole, you don't have to market towards everybody. You don't, and loan officers, of course, I have something in my 12-week playbook is also talking about energy drainers and all that, because energy and my power 4, their number one thing is energy. And what's going to bleed your energy is doing things that you hate to do. When you're not in alignment, you're in alignment. That's why you have good energy, Jerri, is because you're in alignment with what your authentic nature, your why, all those things are aligning, and how you want your life to look is aligning. That's why you have energy and you're able to do that. Without that, if there's some disconnect, like you may not talk to people as much or freely or be as open. It may not happen because you would have some disconnect. So I love what you're doing there. Love the advice. If you're out there, remember, just be yourself. In the Go Giver, the book, The Go Giver, it's a great book. Again, I always say that I handed two real estate agents they were on a team, a great team that I work with in Kentucky, and they come and they're brand new agents, and I handed them a copy of The Go Giver, and I wrote inside it, And the biggest thing in there that I wanted them to get is the law of authenticity is the greatest gift we have to give is of ourselves. And so that's why someone that's 6 months into the business can beat someone out that's been in business 20 years, professional, fits all those other boxes, but yet they'll go with someone that's only been doing it for a few months because they just resonate with them different, because they feel their passion, they align, all those things. So just remember out there, whether you're new, whether you've been doing it for a while, maybe you were authentic, maybe you got away from that because stuff's pushed you down. Get back to your authentic nature. And if you're new, get to that, get your niche. I love it. Absolutely great stuff. I love it, Jerri. Jerri, so if you're in the Atlanta area, of course, and you're looking for a great, amazing real estate agent, Jerri Sims here is definitely someone to look up. How can anybody find you?
If you just Google JerriSims, I promise I'll come up on one of the websites. And my cell number is 770-634-1892.
Awesome. Well, reach out to her. Jerri seems like one of those people. If you are a real estate agent, maybe I'm talking out of turn, but I don't think I am. If you listen to this podcast and you say, hey, I just want to pick your brain for 15 minutes, you should probably take the time too as well. So just this has been a great addition for you to come on here. Love what you're doing. These types of conversations, especially towards the end, was exactly why I had you on here, because I love the alignment that you're having and who you are, the authentic nature. And there's just, if I can just continue to bang that drum in this one segment is that's what we all need to always continue to realize. And again, being professional has changed. That terminology, that term of what it looks like has changed over the years. It's absolutely changed. And so you don't have to always have a suit and tie, which today I got done traveling. So I got my limited risk, limited income shirt on, my ball cap on, be yourself. It doesn't mean you have to mold everybody else. Find your niche, go out there and absolutely crush it. Work with the people that you want to really work with. That's what I would tell you too, loan officers out there is, if you have a great, like a Jerri Sims, and they're like, hey, that's who I want to work with, do everything you can to work with them. If there's someone that's like draining your energy, they're not someone that that you're just like, oh, I need the business. No, you don't. And a lot of people make the mistake and they say, I'll start saying no to people once my business is a certain place. No, that's the opposite. The successful people are where they are because they said no first. They said no first. So say no to the people that are energy drainers, that are not supposed to be in your life, and go work with people that are freaking fantastic, like Jerri Sims, and go out there and crush your business. But Jerri, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on there.
Thank you so much for having me. And we'll talk offline. Thanks.
Absolutely. Remember, guys, limited risk equals limited income.